Many mental health conditions are treated as if they are completely separate problems. Addiction, PTSD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and eating disorders each have their own diagnosis and treatment approaches. But scientists are beginning to suspect that many of these conditions share something important underneath the surface. Deep inside the brain, there is a network sometimes called the reward system. This system helps the brain decide what matters. It influences motivation, pleasure, learning, and the drive to pursue meaningful goals. When the reward system is working properly, people can enjoy normal experiences like relationships, achievement, creativity, or connection. The brain learns what is beneficial and reinforces those behaviors. But when this system becomes disrupted, motivation can change in unhealthy ways. Natural rewards may stop feeling satisfying. Harmful behaviors can become repetitive and difficult to stop. People may feel stuck in cycles of craving, avoidance, compulsive behavior, or emotional numbness. Scientists often refer to the core of this reward system as the mesocorticolimbic circuit. That is simply a technical name for a set of connected brain regions that communicate with each other to regulate motivation and reward. These regions include the ventral tegmental area, the nucleus accumbens, and parts of the prefrontal cortex. Together, they help the brain decide what is valuable and worth pursuing. Two major chemical messengers help this system work: dopamine and glutamate. Dopamine helps signal reward and motivation. Glutamate helps the brain learn and adapt by strengthening or weakening connections between neurons. Across many psychiatric disorders, researchers are finding disruptions in these same signaling systems. The symptoms may look different on the outside, but underneath they often involve changes in how the brain evaluates reward and reinforcement. This is where a compound called Ibogaine becomes interesting. Ibogaine is a naturally occurring substance found in the root bark of a plant called Tabernanthe iboga. This plant grows in central West Africa and has been used for centuries in traditional spiritual practices within the Bwiti culture. In those traditions, iboga is not viewed as a recreational drug. It is considered a teacher that can reveal truth, confront personal struggles, and help restore balance within a person's life. In modern science, Ibogaine has attracted attention because of its unusual effects on the brain. Unlike most psychiatric medications that target only one receptor or chemical pathway, Ibogaine interacts with multiple systems at once. Researchers have found that it affects dopamine signaling, influences glutamate activity, and increases the production of a molecule called GDNF. GDNF stands for glial cell line, derived neurotrophic factor. While the name sounds complex, its function is easier to understand. GDNF is essentially a growth and repair signal for certain brain cells, especially those involved in dopamine pathways. You can think of it as a biological support system that helps neurons survive, grow, and strengthen their connections. Some studies suggest that Ibogaine can increase GDNF activity in areas of the brain that regulate reward and motivation. This raises the possibility that it may help damaged reward circuits recover their normal function. Ibogaine also appears to temporarily increase neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity simply means the brain's ability to change, adapt, and form new connections. During periods of heightened plasticity, the brain becomes more capable of learning new emotional patterns and behaviors. This may be one reason why some people report major psychological shifts after Ibogaine treatment. In addiction, this idea becomes especially important. Long-term substance use can overstimulate dopamine pathways until the brain adapts by becoming less sensitive to normal rewards. Life begins to feel flat. The substance becomes the strongest signal of reward. Ibogaine may interrupt this process by helping reset the brain's reward system, rather than only suppressing withdrawal symptoms. The same general mechanism may also relate to other disorders. In obsessive compulsive disorder, intrusive thoughts and repetitive rituals become self-reinforcing loops in the brain. In post-traumatic stress disorder, the brain can become overly focused on threat and danger, while normal rewards lose their emotional impact. In eating disorders, the brain's reward signals related to food, control, and body perception can become distorted. These conditions are not identical, and they do not all share the same causes. But they may overlap in one important way: disruption in how the brain processes reward and motivation. If Ibogaine truly influences those circuits, it could potentially have relevance across multiple disorders. Scientists can test this idea with several predictions. For example, Researchers can measure whether Ibogaine increases GDNF levels in reward-related brain regions. Brain imaging studies can examine whether reward circuits respond more strongly after treatment. Behavioral experiments can test whether people make healthier decisions when learning from rewards. At the same time, it is extremely important to recognize that Ibogaine carries real medical risks. One of the most serious concerns involves the heart. Ibogaine can interfere with electrical activity that controls the heart's rhythm. In certain individuals, this can increase the risk of dangerous arrhythmias. Because of this, safe treatment requires careful medical screening, heart monitoring, electrolyte testing, and supervision by trained professionals. Another factor is that neuroplasticity itself is not automatically beneficial. Plasticity simply means the brain becomes more capable of change. Whether that change is helpful or harmful depends heavily on the environment, preparation, and integration that follow treatment. For that reason, many researchers believe Ibogaine may work best when combined with structured therapeutic environments that focus on learning new skills, emotional regulation, and long-term behavioral change. The larger implication of this research is that psychiatry may eventually move toward treating underlying brain mechanisms rather than focusing only on symptom categories. Ibogaine is not yet a complete solution, and much more research is needed to understand its effects and safety. But it may offer an important clue about how restoring balance in the brain's reward system could help people recover across multiple forms of psychological suffering. At its core, the idea is simple. Many mental health conditions may involve a brain that has lost its ability to recognize healthy reward. Ibogaine may help that system remember.